Ahsoka has become a chore to watch.
The following is a World-Class Bullshitters exclusive.
Apathy is a hell of an emotion. It's one of the hardest feelings to shake. It means something isn't good enough to get excited for, or bad enough to hate it. And that's the problem I have with Ahsoka. It looks nice. The characters are fine, I guess, but it's not as exciting as The Mandalorian once was, or Andor ever dreamed of being. Ahsoka is a chore to watch, and like most, I hate doing my chores, especially when they're star chores. I'm sorry, that was terrible. But before we start working on that checklist, today's video is brought to you by me, Jeff Hicks, and my graphic novel Stealing Solo. And that comic is guaranteed not to be a chore to get through, as it's been called laugh out loud funny and the best Star Wars parody since Spaceballs. But what is it about? Stealing Solo asks the greatest what-if question of all time. What if a group of disgruntled Star Wars fans kidnap Harrison Ford and force him to remake Star Wars in their basement? That, and a whole lot more, is answered in Stealing Solo, a Captain's Parody. Stealing Solo has been called laugh out loud funny and the greatest Star Wars parody since Spaceballs, and it's available now for a limited time only. Go to stealingsolo.com, which is powered by Shopify, so you get the reward-winning safety and security, and get yourselves a copy today. Once we sell through this limited backstock, I'm going back to the drawing board to bring you the sequel, which parodies Luke Skywalker's fall from grace, and finally the closing chapter, which I can't wait to get to, Frankenfisher, the Bride of Solo. And yes, it's exactly what you think it is. So folks, the only way to get that is go to stealingsolo.com right now, get yourselves a copy, and enjoy the greatest Star Wars parody since Spaceballs. Ahsoka is a tough nut to crack. It's not a bad show, but it's also nothing special. The series from the savior of Star Wars, Dave Filoni, hasn't been the win Disney has hoped it would be. The viewership is a lot lower than all the Disney Plus Star Wars series, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of people talking about it. Ahsoka falls into the category of, it's not good enough to love, but not bad enough to dunk on. Most of the praise seems to be coming from Rebels fans and Star Wars apologists, but the haters aren't really here. Some would argue it's because the show is good and that's why there aren't many detractors. There are, or would be if they were watching the show. The ones that aren't really able to find the massive gaping holes of logic like the Book of Boba Fett or later Mandalorian episodes. We're already halfway through the series and not a lot has happened. That's the main complaint towards Ahsoka. It's taken half of the season for the plot to move forward. After 3 weeks of meandering, Ahsoka finally moves along. Just a bit. The last 3 weeks have made me feel nothing, except mildly annoyed that I'm watching this show. Ahsoka doesn't make me feel happy to be a Star Wars fan like the older films did. The excitement I felt watching the original trilogy or Episode 3 in theaters hasn't been matched. Watching Ahsoka is like watching paint dry, that is if that painter had a nice caboose. Have you noticed all the butt shots in Ahsoka? They keep putting them in each episode. For a video about apathy, there's one thing to look forward to each week. Maybe I'll make a video about the bootyful nature of Ahsoka next time. Tell me down in the comments below if you want that by typing in the word booty. Outside of that one thing to look forward to, Ahsoka has me feeling pretty apathetic. I used to get excited to watch The Mandalorian, then jump here on YouTube and watch the show with you guys. It used to make the show much more exciting. Then Season 2 happened, and that excitement slowly left me. By Season 3, I forgot which day of the week the show was on. The Book of Boba Fett was bad. So bad, in fact, that I skipped a lot of it and only watched the Mandalorian parts. And the finale. What happened with me and millions of Star Wars fans out there was that after years of watching Star Wars shit on by weirdos, SJWs, feminist apologists, Chuck Wendig, and a whole lot more, who call fans repugnant names for not liking their garbage, really made me dislike Star Wars as a whole. It was years of disrespect that turned me off of Star Wars. Disrespect for the fans, disrespect for the characters, disrespect for my fellow YouTubers, and disrespect for my audience. Never disrespect my audience. I appreciate you guys more than you'll ever know. All of that has led me to this place of apathy, which zaps the life out of me and takes the fun out of Star Wars. With all that being said, I have been able to go into Ahsoka with an objective viewpoint, and it's still not that great. I pride myself on not having the modern attention span of a gnat. I love a long build, a slow burn, and a big payoff, but it has to be well paced. I feel like I'm wasting my time with Ahsoka. I won't call it boring, but it's not too far off from that. We're half of the way through the entire series, and most of the show feels like filler. There's no Season 2 yet, so that excuse won't hold up. This is all there is of Ahsoka, and it's not enough to keep me interested, outside of talking about it with you guys. Most of you seem to not like it very much or give a damn. The stabbing was the most talked about part of the show outside of the booty shots. I guess the show is all about Sabine, but it's titled Ahsoka. That's a problem Disney Plus series have as a whole. They create a series around a character, then don't make them the focal point. It happened with Boba Fett, though that was a blessing in disguise. It kinda happened in Obi-Wan, and it's happening again with Ahsoka. She's the most marketable part of the show, so it has to be named after her. But she's not the best part of her series. She's there, she's stoic, she's kinda boring. Why is she so damn boring? The character used to be interesting to watch. She was fun in the Clone Wars, but here, she's as exciting as a manila envelope. It's bizarre since Rosario Dawson is a good actress. She's funny, exciting, hot, but here she's like a Shaolin monk and a Kmart Jedi. She's just lacking. She feels like she's in the backseat of her own show, which happens all the time. And if that's the case, why am I surprised? Call it insanity. I'm expecting a different result, but it's just the same old Disney bullshit. I also wonder if that comes from the disconnect I feared. This show will appeal to Rebels fans, but no one else. Some have said that's not enough to succeed, but that may not be the case. I'll make a separate video about this later, and no, I'm not talking about the booty vid. But there was this crowdfunder for the Ghost, the ship from Rebels, and it was a huge success. It reached over 200% of its goal, which means that a lot of people are interested in Rebels-based merchandise. However, that's not translating to Disney Plus viewership and subscriber growth. Ahsoka being towards the bottom of the list confirms something. There are multiple Star Wars fandoms, and Disney doesn't know how to reach all of them at once. They could please nostalgia junkies with The Force Awakens, but not hook new fans or collectors. They couldn't get gamers on board with Battlefront or collectors on Solo. It just keeps going on. It's a jumbled mismatch of parts. The Mandalorian was the only time they came close to pleasing all of the fans, but they've cocked that all up. And now we're here, and no one is too excited about anything. It shouldn't be a chore to watch anything from Star Wars. Even if the prequels didn't do it for you, they had great action. Modern Star Wars doesn't. They want to hook you with your memories of the past, but Disney is quick to tell you to piss off when you call them out for ruining those memories. This apathy stems from that. It's so frustrating to have hope that things will get better, and they're just okay. Which one would argue is better than bad, but bad entertainment creates a lot of hot takes that are pretty funny. Ahsoka has a lot of people trying to take the high road and dog the writing, which is a valid criticism. But is it fun? Is it more fun to critique the writing or make fun of Rose Tico's potato sack? Is it funnier to complain about Space Cats or roast Rey Skywalker for randomly taking the Skywalker last name? You know the answer. Nothing stupid is happening in Ahsoka outside of the lightsaber stabbing. Why the hell can Sabine survive, but Qui-Gon and Han Solo eat it? The inconsistencies are maddening, but nothing will be funnier than The Last Jedi. Leia Poppins in space, Rose Tico driving, it's all there. Vice Admiral Gender Studies launched 1,000 memes, but nothing so heinous comes from Ahsoka. It's just boring, and boring doesn't create memorable memes or interesting takes. Ahsoka is good for helping you sleep. The characters barely emote, so it's not like their excitement will resonate with you and wake you up. Ahsoka is better than a glass of warm milk and a handful of sleeping pills. Ahsoka puts you to sleep and helps you stay asleep. The name even sounds like a pharmaceutical drug. Xanax, Dayvigo, Ahsoka, they're halfway there. This apathy could stem from congestion. A lot of people tried YouTube because they thought it was easy to dunk on The Last Jedi, and that created a community that's sorely missed. Now a lot of those people are just falling into the trap of complaining about nothing. There's nothing really here to critique, and I blame Disney. Am I saying that I want Star Wars to be bad again so people can roast it in a funny way? I'm not saying that, but I'm also not saying that. Things were a lot more fun when they were terrible. Reva was good for a laugh. Her toys are still hanging around alone. I find joy in that, and hundreds of thousands of you do too. Check out our toy videos for more of that joy. With another one coming next week. Moving forward, can the show get better? It has to. They're in the final half of the season and we still haven't met the real villain. This is the point of the season where people will become passionate because Thrawn is a beloved character. He's one of the best EU creations and fans will have high expectations for how he's handled. At this point he'll be in 3 full episodes and that will anger Star Wars fans. They will be complaining that it wasn't enough. That's sort of true. There's no mystery to who the villain is, so why go this route? Thrawn was a big part of Rebels, so no matter how great he is, he won't be featured enough for fans. Streaming shows have to fix their pacing problems. No more filler. Fans want meat and a lot of it. That's why Sabine is... I'm sorry, that's for another time. It seems like I have a lot of things to say about apathy and Ahsoka. I thought I'd be here beating my head against the keyboard, but then again, I can tackle any topic because I'm world class. So folks, if you have a topic that you want WCBS to tackle, tell us down in the comments below or email us to worldclassbs@mail.com, or find us on social media. We are everywhere. Speaking of everywhere, we keep growing everywhere, and we're almost at 200,000 subscribers. The YouTube algorithm has been a little funky, so folks, we need your help to combat that. All of these changes to make this platform like TikTok really have hurt long-term content creators. And there's a couple ways to get around that. Obviously, hit the thumbs up button, obviously subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, share the videos out. That helps with the algorithm. And if you're new to the channel, welcome in, thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, and check out our backlog of content. We almost have 1,500 videos here on the channel, and there's a lot of stuff that I know a lot of you guys are gonna like. And if you need something else to like, well, go over to stealingsolo.com. Stealing Solo is my graphic novel. It answers the greatest what-if question of all time. What if a group of disgruntled Star Wars fans kidnap Harrison Ford and force him to remake Star Wars in their basement? That nightmare scenario and a whole lot more are answered in Stealing Solo, a Captain's Parody. StealingSolo.com is powered by Shopify, so you get their award-winning safety and security, and I ship out books all the time. If you're one of the people out there who have bought the book, thank you. If you're one of the people out there considering it, thank you in advance. And when you do us one more favor. Head on over to social media and post your pictures with Stealing Solo so people can see that you got the coolest graphic novel that's out there right now, and that gives us another opportunity to say thank you. To the thousands of you out there who have bought Stealing Solo, get ready for my next book, Wokebusters. I am deep into production on this epic graphic novel. It's almost 100 pages of straight story, no filler, not like Ahsoka. When you buy from me, you're gonna get a great story and a lot of it too. So folks, that's the direction. That's the world-class direction. We want to give you guys something great each and every time that you see our name, that you see my name, that you see anything that we're associated with. Because we take pride in it. Unlike Disney, unlike other companies, unlike other places who like to just cash in on a quick buck or cash in on some anger or hype or nostalgia and then that's it, World Class Bullshitters always delivers you content that you can think about, enjoy, laugh, share, and just be happy about. So folks, thank you for that and a whole lot more. If you're one of our patrons, be on the lookout. We have new content coming all the time. We dropped a bonus episode. We have another bonus episode. We're launching our Fantasy League over on Patreon. We have a commentary for License to Kill on the way, which has already been recorded. And our bonus episode for this week is a lot of fun. We talk about all sorts of topics, including things that are too spicy for YouTube. So if you want to get involved with those deeper conversations, or any of this stuff outside of the YouTube platform, well, just click one of the links below and say hey when you join us over on those platforms. So folks, these have been my feelings on Ahsoka. It's not good, it's not bad, it just is, and that's all I can say about it. There's nothing to really scream about, but we're only halfway through the series, and well, knowing Disney Star Wars, anything is possible. So folks, thank you for watching. I'll be back on Saturday with another world-class episode here on the channel. So folks, we're trying out our new schedules of Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. If you want more, we'll watch more, and we'll make more every single day. But until then, folks, be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other. Thanks for watching today's video. Yes, it's over, but don't cry because there's more, a lot more from World Class Bullshitters. And there's only one way to get it. Hit that subscribe button below. When you do that, you'll get notifications and updates from World Class Bullshitters every time we go live. Basically, you won't miss anything. And if there's one thing I hate, it's FOMO. But the thing most people hate more than FOMO is fear of missing out on World Class Bullshitters because there's just some things you can't undo. So folks, do yourselves a favor and never miss anything from World Class Bullshitters. One last thing before you go, hit the thumbs up button. Not for our egos, no, they're big enough as this, but it does help us fight the algorithm here and, well, it's man versus machine and that's the real fight. But if that's not your battle, that's okay. There's one last way you can help WCBS, and that's going over to shopwcbs.com, picking up a t-shirt, a beer glass, a sweatshirt, a poster, all sorts of ways to back WCBS. The difference between us and other YouTube channels is I'm the artist that makes all this stuff, so if you enjoy art beyond t-shirts, you can even read our comic books. We got it all. We're called the epitome of pop culture for a reason, and no, again, it's not for our egos. So folks, make sure you're involved with every aspect of World Class Bullshitters, not just for us, but do it for yourself. We're making the change in entertainment everybody out there wants to see. And a special thank you goes out to all of our wonderful patrons who make this content possible. Go to patreon.com/worldclassbs to get involved and help out the channel.